You're probably wondering why we're in my office for the first hour of the lead today. It's an experiment. This is my actual desk where I do my actual work, not the desk in the studio. And we thought we would bring you into the space where me and my team do our actual journalism and plan the show every day. So here we are giving it a shot. You might also be wondering about the decor, the posters and the kerchiefs and such on my wall. Well, the theme is these are all losing presidential campaigns. By the end of the election, I had a really great collection of, well, losers.
It's interesting that Jake the Bongo Tapper surrounds himself with posters featuring a collection of losers, because every day he walks into work at CNN, he is also surrounded by a collection of failures. Matter of fact, he is surrounded by people who celebrate huge embarrassing failure. Headline at CNN: April drives CNN's best primetime performance in 2 years. Have you seen these ratings? Wowzer! We are so back. We have finally increased our ratings from nothing to almost nothing. Celebrate the butt bongo! Celebrating CNN's ratings improvement, it's like celebrating a newly potty-trained puppy. You were thrilled that your puppy is finally dropping turds outside, but Roscoe is still dropping turds. While it's true that CNN's ratings have improved, their ratings are still circling the pooper. The only thing they have accomplished is preventing this polished turd from being flushed. Last month, CNN's primetime ratings increased 49% when compared to last year, with a 45% increase in the 25 to 54 demo. But the collection of huge embarrassing failures tanking the primetime lineup, Caitlin Collins, Katie Woo, Abby Phillip, the host that is so unknown, she is not even considered to be the star of her own show. The real star on Abby Phillip's primetime dump is the American hero Scott Jennings. I am a real American. Even though their primetime audience doubled when compared to last year, CNN still only averaged 633,000 viewers with 110,000 in the key demo. Of course, that hasn't stopped them from celebrating, but unfortunately for the so-called stars at CNN, the celebration was very brief. Media careers at CNN are on life support. The donut diva Brian Stelter, Wolf Blitzer, woof, 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 Andy Cooper, the people responsible for the destruction of the network, they are very concerned about their future, their jobs. They're concerned that their woke welfare is about to expire. And they have every reason to be concerned, because once this merger between Warner Brothers Discovery, which owns CNN and is desperately trying to dump this dump, once this merger is approved between Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount, it is entirely possible, and even likely, that the Ellison family walks into CNN and cleans house. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. So I'm going to get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at American Attitude. Next month, America will be celebrating its 250th birthday. 250 years of freedom, 250 years of being the greatest country on earth. Due to a certain political party that is anti-American, I'm sure July 4th is going to be intentionally divisive. But you can show your love and support for our country and our great military with patriotic gear from American Attitude. American Attitude is more than a clothing brand. It is a movement for people who love faith, freedom, and a good punchline. They've got plenty of hats and t-shirts that celebrate 250 years of American freedom, but my personal favorite It's got to be the infidel t-shirts and hoodies where you are displaying your pride at being labeled as an infidel. They've also got patriotic hoodies and tumblers to keep the beverage of your choice iced down during the summer. American Attitude strives to bring patriotic Americans together through humor and unapologetic American grit. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL10, BTL10. Receive 10% off your first purchase with American Attitude. Headline at the deep dive. CBS executive Barry Weiss may or may not get control of CNN. I'm sure woke welfare collectors at CNN are hoping Barry Weiss is not given control of their fate. She has spent the last few months terminating media careers at CBS. But even if Barry Weiss isn't given control of CNN, more than likely, the end result is going to be the same. The so-called stars will be fired. In most cases, when a company merges with or acquires another company, especially when that company being acquired is a struggling turd like CNN, they're not buying the company with the intent on saving people's jobs. They're not buying the company so it can continue underperforming. They're buying the company thinking they can turn it around. And in order to do that, they bring in people they can trust. Now, in the case of CNN, who is trustworthy at this network? The Ellisons are conservative. They are big supporters of Donald Trump. You think they are spending billions of dollars to buy CNN so they can pay Caitlin Collins $2 million a year not to draw an audience? You think they are willing to pay Abby Phillip millions for her personalized brand of toxic mouth farts? Hell, they won't even have to fire Andy Cooper. He'll just quit. As soon as the Ellison family took over CBS in 60 Minutes, Andy dug through his pink purse to hand them his pink slip. I can no longer contribute to 60 Minutes. My journalistic integrity is being stifled because Paramount refuses to allow me to make shit up. This potential buyout of CNN, it's being protested by the woke media. Deacons at Woke United Methodist, they are very concerned that they are losing control of the mainstream media. A dozen or so advocacy groups are petitioning to get this merger blocked. We are deeply concerned that conservatives are taking over our media. This is the first step to tyranny. This is a threat to our democracy. With CBS shifting towards the center, or some believe the far right, with Disney, which owns ABC, Disney seems to be trying to distance themselves from the woke fungus, although the process is happening very slowly. ESPN has pretty much eradicated the fungus, but ABC is still giving a mainstream platform to Jim Kimmel and the Yentas on The View. If the Deacons lose CNN, the only mainstream network they'll have left is MSNBC, or as they now prefer to be called after they were dumped by NBC News, MS Now. If they lose CNN, they are losing a strong collection of their paid propagandists. Well, Uncle KC, that's not necessarily true. These highly talented stars, they can move to YouTube. Can you imagine Katie Rue on YouTube? She would be a huge star. Yeah, like, it's so easy. You just start a YouTube channel and you instantly have an audience. The only reason Caitlin Collins, the only reason Jake Tapper has an audience is because they're on CNN. If you take away the CNN platform, there isn't a single fly that would be attracted to this turd. Me personally, I don't understand why the Ellisons are interested in buying CNN. For starters, their takeover of CBS isn't exactly going well. Now, in their defense, it's still early, and the process of eradicating the woke fungus, very long process. But the reason CNN is a bad investment, and I could be wrong about this, but I think cable news is dying. I don't think it really matters at this point who owns CNN because 10 years from now, I don't know if cable news will exist, at least in its current format. Think about it. According to CNN, their average viewer is 67 years old. Now, in cable news, that's young. CNN has the youngest audience in cable news. Fox News, 69 years old. MSNBC, their average viewer is in their 70s. The average cable news viewer is already knocking on heaven's door. Once Jesus opens the door and lets them in, these cable news networks won't have an audience. The thing is, the mainstream media is not useless. Believe it or not, the media actually serves a purpose. They are great with breaking news. They're great at breaking stories. Hell, without the media, I don't have a channel. But when it comes to giving opinions, the media can't compete with YouTubers and independent media because the media is restricted by their bias. They are restricted by donors. They are restricted by party lines. MSNBC or MS Now, they will never deviate from the party of the donkey. Fox News will never deviate from Donald Trump. It creates a lack of authenticity. And right now, people are starved for authenticity. You don't have to get everything right. Your audience doesn't really have to agree with you. Hell, there are a lot of you guys who don't agree with me. But you watch because you know I'm not trying to bullshit you. You know I'm not polishing the turd. What cable news is going through right now, it's kind of similar to what late night television has been going through in the last 10 or so years. Obviously, the problem in late night is the host, but it's also the format. People are no longer sitting down at 7 o'clock every night to watch Bill O'Reilly or Rachel Maddow in the rare instance that Rachel Maddow actually shows up to work. The formulaic A block, B block, C block, that's antiquated. People under the age of 65, they are no longer getting their news from corporations. They are no longer getting their news from networks. They're getting their news from people they trust. This merger between Warner Brothers and Paramount, it's scheduled to be approved later this summer. I know the Ellison family is very wealthy, billionaires, but I think this is a mistake. You're never taking the conservative audience away from Fox News. You could try to appeal to younger viewers. You could throw millions of dollars at young conservative stars, but why would they leave their independent platform? Why would they trade not having a boss for having a boss? And how are you going to find a younger audience on cable when that demographic doesn't exist on cable? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.